just watching us as a group overcome the obstacles and struggles that we have. We've come so far since even just the 80s and 90s.
What it means to be a part of the LGBT community to me is to be among a group of people that are just openly accepting, more so than the general populace.
Every letter and every symbol in that abbreviation means something to somebody.
For me, the community means an opportunity for self-exploration. It gave me the opportunity to meet people and find terms and environments that allowed me to explore like what I was. And I was struggling with my gender identity and my sexual identity, and it gave me the opportunity to kind of explore that and find a place within that.
You know, I remember the day that America passed the gay marriage bill, finally, and it was just the happiest day. And I was in America at the time, and I remember just walking down the street feeling so proud.
It's like finding a home that you never knew you had, a second family.
Being in the LGBTQ community has really opened my eyes up to a lot of diversity that is within our community.
Something I could be proud of is that we never give up the fight.
It's like meeting people who identify with something that you are at the core of your very being.
And every equal rights issue in the past, you know, whether it be black rights or equal rights for women, you know, equal rights for, you know, LGBTQ, we all have something in common, is that we should be proud of where we are now, because it's way different than what it was even 10, 20 years ago.
I would have to honestly say, before I really accepted myself and came out as trans, I thought that trans was going to be an either-or thing. Either you're going to do it or you're not, and you're going to fit into this little box, or you're going to go back to whatever other box you came from. And that nothing could be further from the truth. There's so much diversity within the community that is greater sometimes, I think, than the diversity outside the LGBTQ community.
In the gay community, I find it a struggle every single day.
When I came out as transgender and transitioned, I lost a lot of privilege that I had taken for granted and when it was unaware I had.
I would say when I was younger and just kind of understanding who I am and where I come from and what everything that I was then to where I am now, I think I don't have as many day-to-day struggles.
And I really came out on stage at the Star Bar in Atlanta, Georgia, while in the middle of one of my shows, and that's because I heard somebody make a homophobic comment, and then I just kicked my kick drum really hard and screamed at him stuff about, you know, oral sex, I don't know, but and open-mindedness about it and all the rest of this stuff.
The fear of not being accepted and scared by all your fellow peers. It's tough, but you get through it. Everyone does. The fear of not having your family accept you, but then when you come out they're like, don't be stupid, we'll always love you. You're still you. You're still you.
In my new school, I was in first year high school, they were more accepting. I was hesitant at first to go out for the fear of being rejected again, but they were very accepting, and I've had a few girlfriends.
Being represented in terms of the media, I still, even now, am constantly on a search for sort of LGBTQ TV shows and movies and books. And we've come a long way, but there's so much more to go. But it is a struggle, I think, to not feel represented, because you don't really have anything to identify with, and that's always hard.
There are too many struggles being a gay man. There are too many struggles being a straight man. There are many more different words I could have put in front of those two genders. But then there are some people that don't even identify as those two genders.
But I remember growing up and learning who I am, I had a hard time telling people, saying certain words like, I would say person instead of him or her. That was something that was difficult for me because I didn't want people to know. I didn't want people to, not even just to know my sexuality, even if they did know, I didn't want them to think about it. I think the hardest thing is learning who you are. That's the hardest struggles. Those struggles, getting from A to B is, to be honest, a bitch. Like, I cannot give any better version of that. It is just difficult. Advice. This is something I'm good at. I'm good at the advice part. This is something I can answer. I'm pretty good at this.
I think the key is to take it slow. It's very easy to want to rush things and to want to put a label on things because you desperately want to fit into a category when you feel lost and confused. I remember feeling that exact same way. But don't rush into putting yourself into a box if you don't feel ready to.
Everybody's terrified in this community. So feel terrified, but talk to somebody. Just talk. And only then will you see that you don't need to be afraid.
Society puts a lot of pressure on people to fit into one thing and one thing only, and that's not really how life or love works. It can be very fluid. It can be set and solid, but it can also be very fluid. And if you sort of float in between that, or you are currently floating in between that, then it's important to not stress or worry about being one thing or another. You can be in between for as long as you like, and you don't ever have to figure it out if you don't want to, and that's the beauty of it.
Acceptance is the only way for you to be truly free, but I promise you, once you've done that, it gets overwhelmingly beautiful.
But I do have a little bit of advice, and it all depends. It all depends on you personally. And I know that's like so stupid generic, but it does. And I'm gonna give you two reasonings. One, you have to feel like you're safe to deal with your sexuality and your identity. If you feel like you're in a safe place, then you're good. You're good. I feel like you should just be open, just be honest with everyone. But at the same time, if you live in a place that might have a little bit of violence or a negativity towards you because of who you are, because of your sexuality, because of your gender, or what gender you believe you are, who you truly believe that you are, I almost want to say it's smarter to wait a little bit. And I know it's kind of painful, and it is painful to say, actually. Like, I wish I could say something else, but honestly, safety first. And every company says it, everybody should say it, safety first. Believe in your safety, and then your identity.
Just wanna be free so I can go on and on. You gotta do what's right. I'll be myself so I can go on and on. So I can fly, 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 fly like